So greetings. We're continuing our conversation about what distinguishes the Feldenkrais method from other forms of fitness and physical approaches. I'm having a conversation with one of my YouTube subscribers about golf and about strength. And so this lesson is for that person. I'll talk about it a little bit afterwards, but let's just cut right to the chase. So you're going to start in standing, and you're not going to be able to see a lot of me, but that is not really going to matter for the beginning of the lesson. And just find your feet and sense how your feet meet the ground, whether your weight is more on your right foot than your left foot, whether your weight is more on the outsides of the legs or the insides of your legs, whether your weight is more on the front of your feet or the back of your feet. And then simply begin to look around yourself to the right and the left, just turning to look around the room like you're looking at the horizon from right to left, just whatever is comfortable. So you're turning, you're twisting yourself, turning and twisting. I'm going to get on my knees so that you can see what I'm doing. I don't want you to get on your knees, I'm just making it easier for you to see. Okay, once you've done that, then please come down onto your back. And bend and stand your knees and your feet about hip width apart, and just sense how your feet are connected to the floor, sense how the back of your pelvis is connected to the floor. Just give yourself a minute to settle. Settling into the floor, the support through the shoulders, the support through the back of the skull, the support through the feet, the curve of the lower back, the weight of the pelvis. You can take some time with this. And then I'd like you to begin, please, by pressing your feet into the floor slightly so that your pubic bone moves up towards the top of your head and your lower back flattens. And then just simply let go. So pressing gently, pubic bone rolls towards the top of the head. Pubic bone is the bottom of the pelvis here between the inner thighs. Lower back flattens. And then go ahead and do the reverse direction where you roll your pubic bone away from the top of the head. Increase the arch in your back. And just notice as you alternate, we'll do that a few times. And then notice when you begin to alternate, what happens to the rest of you? Are you still? Is anything else moving? And then if you would please, roll your pubic bone towards the top of your head, but instead of letting the force dissipate into the floor through your lower back, allow the force to come up through your spine so that you actually grow longer on the floor. You'll notice that my chin began to move upward and that my whole spine is now sliding on the floor up. So I'm going to try to save time in this lesson, so you'll have to probably pause this recording, but you take as much time with this as you need to have that sense that what you're doing is generating force from the ground that is not dissipating into the floor through your lower back, but is coming all the way up and through you, out the top of your head. Okay? So after you've done enough of that, then let's do one at a time. So that means that when I press through my right foot, my right pelvis goes towards the ceiling, my left pelvis goes into the ground as if I were turning. Do it a few times on one side, a few times on the other side. if there was a flashlight shining at my belly button, I would be a searchlight looking across the horizon to the right and to the left. And you'll want to take some time with this part as well. So when you've done that enough times, then once again, instead of dissipating the force into the back of the pelvis through the floor, what happens if you allow that force to travel up and through you? So you start to feel a diagonal coming up from the right side of the pelvis to the belly button, and maybe beyond to the left rib cage and the left shoulder. So take your time to allow that to build. Keeping your eyes soft, keeping your breath soft, using the ground, sensing how you're generating this movement from the floor. So you'll do this till you're really comfortable with it, till you really feel capable. And that not only is it easy, but it's pleasurable. And then if you wish, you can also allow your arm to come into the movement. I'm going to just demonstrate it towards you first, so that from the pathway going across my pelvis, across my belly button, across my rib cage, across my shoulders, it goes all the way out in that direction. Looks kind of like a golf swing, doesn't it? So the other side. So again, you would spend a good deal of time with this, really taking your time, not trying to perfect it, not trying to get it right, but simply exploring and sensing. And then the last version is to make this pelvic movement that sends you across to the opposite shoulder, strong and percussive. Boom. As if you were hitting a ping pong ball, boom, off of the right side of your pelvis. Boom. 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 See that? Boom. Boom. All right. So you would take enough time with that, and then just let yourself rest. You can rest anytime during these lessons. You can do as many repetitions as you want. You can spend as much time as you want. You can rest when you need to. And then when you're ready, we'll come up to standing, and then I'll talk about what we did a little bit. And once again, I'm going to begin demonstrating on my feet and then come to my hands and knees so that you can actually see me better. So then you just begin to turn around yourself again. And you notice what's different about your turning, what's different about your sense of the connection between your leg and your pelvis and how that creates rotation. So I'm going to lift the screen up now. So if I'm a golfer, and I'm not a golfer, okay, so don't laugh at my fake stroke, but if I'm a golfer, the way that I get my power is by how I begin my swing from the back foot up through that hip. That is where I get the power for my swing. That's where I get the power to throw a ball. That's where I get the power to throw a frisbee, is from the ground through the pelvis. And the reason that I'm bringing this to my friend who watches my channel is because we've been having a conversation about strength, and the Feldenkrais method has a kind of a different view about strength, that rather than strength, what we really want is self-organization. So in any movement, there are three components. These are big words, but I'll explain them. One of them is manipulation. That simply means how you manipulate your body, the coordination of the parts of your body to make the movement. Orientation is your orientation spatially, the trajectory of your movement, and how you're getting support from the ground to begin the movement. And then the third one is timing. How do you initiate the movement? How do you accelerate into the movement? How do you decelerate? And when we have a combination of a coordination of all of those pieces, we don't need a lot of muscular strength because we have so much skill. We're more like a martial artist who can be really elegant and use ourselves wisely and well. And it doesn't require a lot of brute strength. So that's today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate the conversations we're having. Bye-bye.